an advantage at all, anytime in this game.
All eyes will be on that jungle matchup in that early game here. Luna versus Ukyo Tachibana here. Ukyo Tachibana with Liang, that is a very aggressive setup that is looking to invade the jungle of Clean in this early game here. 3-2 in terms of scoreline here. Twisted Minds leading the match point against Fearless Esports Hong Kong, China here. Can FE bring this game to a 3-3 into an ultimate battle? This is what we are watching in this game number 6.
They have to do it, right? And this pressure that they can put up for themselves on the side of FE, if they do it successfully, this is all the time in the world for KK to just farm comfortably, get that late game status in terms of itemization and levels.
And so far, there's no invade being set up from either side in this early game here. It is standard stock start from both sides here. Scouting out the jungle here, knowing where their opponents start is the key. Intel is Wintel.
That's right, information. And you can see, right, TL already moving on to make sure that there is no trade in terms of the neutral camps here and secure themselves the fire beak at the top side.
And bottom side here, we see a 2v2. Both of these two teams contesting for that fire beak here. It does fall in favor towards Shanks thanks to that oak bolt here onto the top side. Good news coming in from Twisted Minds so far in this early game. They secured both of these neutral objectives as the start of the game.
Yep, so Firehawk plus Space Bite, they also get the opportunity to get the earlier rotation coming down, right? For now, I think it's a definitely matchup in favor on the side of Twisted Minds in the farm lane at least, because they have the Oak Bolt. You can really get those snipes from afar.
You can see Oak Bolt's forward side of Wild Rounds here, charging into the face of KK here. It's a contest between who can land more of these shots in towards the farm lane here. Good news for Zhao Shanks though, he does have the protecting wins, so he does have more of a leeway to dodge against all these snipes coming in from KK.
Okay, so in KMW, we have seen teams like OG play this composition as well with the Luna, right? And it's all about buying time in the other parts of the map so that Clean as the jungler or your Luna gets space to really just take resources away from the opponent team and secure yours across the map.
This goes to the same question, right? Usually we don't see such a late game setup in KME or KMW that's being drafted by the likes of Fearless Esports, right? Because usually we just see like, oh, one late game, that's about it. But you have KK on the show here, you have TL on a Kong main here, that's so much late game. And to add it on, Snow is on the move. Oh, let's try late game once again being drafted for Fearless.
Yeah, but they play so safe. That's one of the reasons why they're so successful, right? And here comes a wraparound. This is going to be a big mistake by Highline if he gets caught out with the time shift as well. They get the 5 stacks. The spheres are available for the side of Fearless Esports.
And I want to really jump into a topic that you talk about, right? Whereby, oh, Engage goes over to the Highline here, and he does get engaged on by the winning strategy.
That is the first blood, and of all the people, he goes into TL. Hey, the late game status, not as late as we are thinking on the side of Fearless Esports.
Woodwind and Miku finding the success factor here for the side of the bottom lane here. Shanks going in for that 1v1 here, but that only gets those HP bars here, does not convert it to a kill at all.
And you know what's the scariest part? Woodwind did not even have to expend his flash for that. So now there is a threat once again. Now here we go. This is the same combination. Clean, can he get the cleanup against the likes of Snow? They will get it, but does not get the kill. To Clean, it will go into the hands of 90.
Still good for a 1v1 trade coming in for the side of Clean here. They do get a return kill. That does put this party on towards the board here. We remember what 90 could do on this party during KWC, doing all these professional games here, but not engaged. That's for the ACC.
Easy kills and easy pickings for the side of Fearless Esports, and this means they start the fight 4v5 if they want to get that initial Tyrant catch here. But for now, Clean is just trying to put them in a little bit of pressure because they have to burn down the lifelines. Really just burn the resources away from the side of Fearless.
The only fortunate news coming in for Twisted Minds is that in this fight, there will be no ultimate and flash coming in from Woodwind here. So this Liang Roam will not find a lot of success compared to before here. As we see it engage.
Yep, nice knockout. KK at risk. They will take the Tyrant. Now, Highline, he knows not to over-aggress. They need to maintain this balance or unfair advantage that will be swinging in their favor shortly.
But if you think from a competitive viewpoint, FE, sure, get my flash, get these kills, thanks.
So close, so close. That is the scary potential of TL, right? Especially when he has the lead. The only silver lining for them is that, hey, they're equal on levels. But the moment TL gets a level advantage against Shanks, that is a scary situation.
This goes to the same topic we keep talking about, right? Twisted Minds, sure, you need to play towards tempo, you need that early game advantage towards the mid game. For FE, sure, we can always afford a 2,000 to 3,000 deficit as long as we scale comfortably towards that late game here. We have Kong Ming, we have all these good picks here. That's why we can afford all these late game insurances.
Yes, and look, the damage offered by Miku here on the Ukyo Tachibana. Is it a greedy pick in terms of the jungle? It is, because you're looking for maximum damage, right? But when you have the potential to burst down people like Hailang, who is meant to be the one catching you out, then it changes the face of the fight, because Hailang is training by 2 levels here.
Trailing by 2 levels and also just barely making it available to mark these tempos. But you have to imagine, right? Because Miku, he's playing more as a early aggression jungle to provide room for TL, Snow, and KK to farm. So he's more of like an early game cover for these picks here. So if you remove Miku from the equation, TL, KK, and Snow, they are farming really well under the protection of Miku.
Yes, really quickly as well, right? And this is very important because late game is where Fearless Esports will really hit the power spike. For now, it's about how long can you keep clean at bay before that situation happens.
Keeping clean at bay here, that will be Woodwind and Snow's job here. We talk about Woodwind's ultimate in being able to lock down these carries, but Snow, if you give him the heavy sword form that spell 2 pushback, it can lock up targets like Hailang, Clean, or even Shanks as well in these exchanges.
I think more importantly, to lock up Shanks, right? And maybe if you can, get the catch on 90. But for now, this is the potential catch coming in from the side of Twisted Minds. But it is Twisted Minds who might be the ones getting caught. The nice knockup by Highlight to change that fight. They get the shutdown onto Miku, and the block comes in. Save the lights are clean at the exchange of Highlight. That's fine. A good price to pay for the side of Twisted Minds. And once again, oh no, they're shut down TL. And Twisted Minds, they are on a roll this time. A small lead. And the T1 available for the taking. Fearless Esports, they need to move back.
Good fight coming in from Twisted Minds. They disengage the Liang ultimate to a perfection here. Saving Clean, allowing Clean to show off that mid-game prowess on this Luna here. Props to Hailang as well, sacrificing his body to allow Clean to escape towards safety here. And a good shot comes in towards KK. Shanks has to back off.
Okay, ACC using the Radiance to make sure that he slows them down. They will not be able to get the kill onto ACC, so not right now it's a reset for the side of Twisted Minds, right? The scary thing here for the side of Fearless Esports is the fact that there is quite a lot of turret pressure around from Twisted Minds. T1, bot, and mid very low.
Goes back to the same thing that we discussed about Kin. Late game, it falls in favor of FE here in these occasions because you look at the draft. Mulan, Kong Ming, Shouyue. Sure, we're losing about 1,000 gold as FE, but if you think about the late game scenario here, you're in a situation in this mid game almost tied with a much more aggressive enemy team comp.
True, but end of the day, this is not a Hano lineup, right? This is a huge risk that FE have taken because they are at risk of getting bursted down, and for now, they are opening their eyes up vision onto the Crimson buff, stolen away by Clean. This means for the esports, there is room to play around the other portions of the map.
Other portions of the map, 1.2k goalie in the hands of Twisted Minds here as they look to cement themselves with even more lead in this mid-game here as they are looking for this Overlord take just before that Shadow objective starts to spawn in that 10-minute mark.
Yeah, Hailang doing well, very good recovery as well. He's at level 10 now. 1 level behind Miku. Now, the big thing is Clean is level 13, so he is the win condition for the side of Twisted Minds now. If he makes a mistake, gets shut down. That is what Fearless Esports are looking for.
One ultimate from Yang will probably seal the deal in that case here. Clean looking for aggressive pokes here on towards Miku here, but does not find the target here. TL, face checking that bush.
Okay, a little bit scary, but Fearless Esports, TL, he needs to get a little bit more value, get the spheres down as well. Hailang does not hit his Kachosins. Right now, the map is definitely in favor of Twisted Minds, right? The Vanguards naturally win in lane against the minions.
Those calming orbs are starting to hit like a truck, especially on Shanks and Hailang here. You can see they were screaming in awe there, trying to escape towards that choke point. And Miku here, face checking towards Hailang here, forcing him away from that push here. 30 seconds until the Shadow Tyrant, where the first major fight may happen between these two teams.
The restraint is crazy here from both teams, right? They don't want to expend their common spells because they know it. Every small advantage here is going to make the world's difference in the team fights. And right here, they put pressure onto this Crimson buff, which means now there is no smite. Twisted Minds have essentially given up the Shadow Tyrant.
But still, look at the position coming in from Clean though. He immediately using that teleportation portal to get a better positioning towards that bottom side here. No room of error here. Both of these two teams, they are looking for a 50-50 trade thus far, as none of them want a 5v5.
So smart, but here we go. This is too quick. This is why Fearless Esports is also very scary in terms of their draft. They have a lot of burst damage potential, right? So really quick take on that Shadow Overlord. They're gonna balance out the fighting prowess that is of Twisted Minds.
Very patient game so far from both of these two teams. Clean on this Luna may be in a threat of being outscaled in that later part of the game here. Right now, 10 minutes 35 seconds here. We're starting to see more of these defensive items being built by Miku, being built by Snow, the Succubus Cloak in their pockets already.
Yes, you know what? Everything falls on the Woodwind in this game. If they manage to get the Howling Wind set up into a very nice catch, hopefully onto 90 or Clean, this will be a big win condition. And here we go. Radiant's gonna be laid down. They get the Tremor Smash. Unable to find anyone, but they do get a burst down onto Miku. And this is where they have to turn tails and run. Fearless Esports, they might not have the tank abilities. Snow is their one turnaround condition unless someone on the side of Twisted Minds makes a mistake.
Good catcher so far coming in from Twisted Minds, but look at the wave state. They have to attend to these Vanguards. They are pummeling on the side lanes of their base here. So still a dry kill that doesn't convert to any structural or objective on towards the map.
Yep, they're using ACC to bait it out here. They want to know the positions of this side of Fearless Esports. They're not going to be allowed to give and obtain information at all, so they have to traverse it the traditional way. TL catches eyes onto 2.
TL is at level 14 soon on this Kong main here. He is one of the prime carries to be looking out for in all these team fights here. A late game Kong main, one reset is all it takes to really traverse these team fights here. As we look towards the map here, more of this control is being relinquished towards the side of Twisted Minds. They need this control. They need to control more buffs, force more team fights under the presence of Woodwind.
Yeah, it's all for Woodwind at this point. If I'm on Fearless, we have to depend on this Liang pick to get us the win. But it's also important to catch the appropriate targets, which is why the two biggest game changers, 90 as well as Clean, they're never in the front of the battle.
Exactly the case. They have to find that backline target being KK or also TL. That is their job in this game here. And ACC and Woodwind, these are the two players that we have to look out for those big engages that we might see that may impact the game in the forefront here. ACC, if you can find a beautiful Tremor Smash, that may seal the deal. Same goes for Woodwind. Beautiful power control on for Shanks or even Clean. That will really lock them the game.
Yeah, both teams are going to play super passive right now, right? It's really about who makes the mistake of showing. And here we go. This is going to be Snow getting caught out. He's tanky enough. He's level 15. He doesn't have to be too worried about it. Now, TL is the main issue here. If he gets caught out here, this is going to be disaster. ACC manages to stake up that barrier for now, but they have gotten a little bit of damage onto Miku.
But that's no flash coming in from TL. TL's flash will be not available coming into this 30 seconds objective take here. But snipes coming in from KK. You can see this Shoryue. His damage is starting to ramp up. He is hitting so hard on these auto attacks.
Okay. Now, it might not seem the case, but this is really neck and neck, even though Twisted Minds have close to a 4,000 goal lead against the likes of Fearless Esports. And this is just because they have taken an extra tower and a couple of camps away from Fearless Esports.
But that goes to the question. Fearless Esports, they have a much better drop in terms of that late game here. But look at Hailang here. 90, Hailang, looking for that backline access here as they look to march towards this Shadow Tyrant as they have so much more ribbon control compared to FEHK here. FEHK, what is the decision here? How do they move towards this Tyrant as they look to back off towards safety?
Wait, they got the steal, and that is what we're looking for. KK, what a turn to hit that slide, the wow win. Really gone like the win, and Fearless Esports, they benefit.
They got the Tyrant without expending any possible members, and if you're FE, you have a direct beeline for this objective here if you're looking to fight it.
Yeah, they're trying to go in for the catch as well. They will not waste that suppression on the side of Woodwind. He's still looking for the appropriate target. He has found it. The burst potential coming in. But Clean, he has soaked in everything. The rest of the team on the side of Twisted Minds. Double kill for the side of Shanks. He's exactly who you want to survive in the fights. Clean as well is still alive. And the price to pay, just Highland. And right now, T3s are open for the taking. TL has to stand on his lonesome self against 4 different members of Twisted Minds.
For a minimum of 15 seconds, that is the respawn time coming in from Snowhill. If TL falls it, this may be game coming in from Twisted Minds as they are marching towards the crystal.
They get the shutdown, but it does not matter. There is not enough time. One mistake from the side of Fearless Esports, and Twisted Minds have turned this entire thing around. They secure the win, 4-2. Welcome into championships.
The most important team fight, and that was ACC finding towards the backline, finding the key decisive win, and that is Twisted Minds with a 4-2 victory. Kid, they are right going into KIC 2025 as the last